Good morning and welcome to Gulfstream today. Brian Netto with you on a glorious morning here in Hollandale Beach. You can see the dirt course. We've got the turf course out there, the Tapeta as well, and Ron Nicoletti. The rumor is Ron might be wandering that turf course today, so we bring in Angela Herman, who's happy to have you join us down from Minnesota, getting some sun in here, and welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me. It's a beautiful day here in Florida, much different than it is at home. 9 races set up for this Sunday card, some crucial changes throughout it, but still a very interesting one to handicap from start to finish.
And they hit the Rainbow Six again yesterday, so we start anew. That'll be in race 4. Ronnie's got a ticket. He'll be with us a little bit later on today as well, so we'll take a look at his ticket shortly, but we'll kick it off in the 12:25 opener. I've got an early pick 5 to take a look at, and this one held together a little bit. The scratches predominantly are a little bit later on in the card. $12.50. I did lose a key horse. I know both Angela and I like the horse later, so I'm going to have essentially a 5x5 early double. The top pick for me is Crimson Princess in there in race 1. In race 2, I go to my long shot Captain Complicated in race 2. That's the Monmouth Invader, and then a single pick 3 to end this sequence. Quinoa Tifa. I'll get it right this time. She's going to be a huge favorite now with the key scratch of Basking, who I think both Angela and I liked. I know I did. Number 7, Feline. I think it's finally her time to get it done, hopefully in race 4. And then we'll get out with my best bet, the class-dropping Forest Survivor in race 5. $12.50. You'll need some change to play that sequence, but we'll get into the opener now. This is a maiden claimer. We're routing on the Tapeta 2-year-old fillies. The tag is $35,000, and it's your long shot play of the day. Major Price, a horse I didn't use, but did get to the Tapeta last time, and certainly woke up a little bit for Antonio Sano.
Yeah, you used 5 horses in your pick 5, and not one of them was Major Price. We have a lot of 2-year-olds running today, and when I look into 2-year-olds going 2 turns, I'm looking for a foundation and a horse who's finishing up all right. And even though Major Price wasn't making a big dent on the winner in that October 16th race, I think that she'll be a much better price. She was favored in that spot. She comes back against a horse that did beat her mediation, probably keeping that price fair. And you know that Major Price can handle going the distance. I don't see that with a whole bunch of the horses who are outside, and Major Price can pass horses. That's what I need. Antonio Sano won a few races yesterday, and I think that Major Price could add to that tab again in the first.
Yeah, hat trick for Antonio yesterday. It was good to see with a nice 2-year-old as well that looks like could be a prospect, which we'll show in the lightning round a little later on. I went to Crimson Princess, a newcomer for Jeremiah Englehart. Maya was down here last winter a little bit, running horses on the Tapeta, running horses on the turf. If you're not familiar with this barn, it's a very, very sharp New York outfit on the NYRA circuit. Ronnie pulled up a trainer staff for Jeremiah as well, and we'll take a look at it. This is a Presque Isle Invader. Of course, they have the Tapeta there. So maiden claim and sprint to route the past 5 years. A big staff for a high percentage barn as it is. 28%. The ROI is solid enough. This is a barn that gets bet quite a bit. I like the fact that Jeremiah reached out for Edgar Zayas as well, one of our leading jockeys. So to put him on, I think there's some intent here. We both have some interest in the 9, Queen Daymar, who I thought ran very, very well kind of against the profile on debut.
Yes, and Queen Daymar is one that I'll want to watch down the road a little bit too. She's a very big 2-year-old, and I think that Queen Daymar will get more out of her races than she might in some of those morning works. There's only so much you can do with the 2-year-old, so to get her really fit and get her to her best, I think that racing is going to be a bigger key for her than maybe some of her competition. And back to your point on Crimson Princess, she ran great in defeat in that October 5th race up at Presque Isle. I remember watching Michelle M. break at the very back of the field. She passed up everybody. It took a monster effort to beat Girl Afraid and Crimson Princess, and Girl Afraid has since won at Churchill Downs. I see your point on Crimson Princess. I just think that maybe going 2 turns and asking some questions of her at the price that she's going to be led me in a different direction.
Mediation's in there as well. You mentioned her third start of her career. Added blinkers last time. Miguel Vasquez getting aboard too. Tough opener. I went 5 deep, and I don't have Angela's long shot, so it's that kind of race. You can get a little funky with that kind of race. Right. Tough one in race 2 as well, kicking off the early pick 4. 7 furlongs on a fast main track. These are the 2-year-olds. Maiden claimers. A tag is 12.5. You go back down inside a little bit to the 2, Hello Jack, off the claim for Danny Hertak.
Yeah, Hello Jack has run some winning races. I think that would fit into this. He gets one less furlong to navigate, going 7 today. And Hello Jack didn't give up when he got past. Yeah. I mean, Joe's had enough, put that field away early, but Hello Jack would ordinarily give up in defeat. I think that if he wasn't prepared for this kind of spot, and Hello Jack makes some sense from just off the pace too. It's another tool like Major Price where you can pass horses at this young age. It's not a tool that every 2-year-old has, and I think that if Hello Jack returns with either one of those two recent races, either at the end of September or that October race, I think he could finally come up with the win. He seems to be improving just a little bit with every start. Maybe he's leveled out, but that same effort, I think, would come up with a win in this group.
Trainer Danny Hertak, 20% off the claim as well, and I don't think he'll have to move this one up. Not going to see him on my top 4, but he's in my early pick 5. My long shot play today, the 7, Captain Complicated, maiden special weight dropper from Monmouth. I just think for 12-5 today in this kind of race, that's a big deal. Cutting back from 2 turns to 1 turn as well, facing better Recruiter. We're going to show Recruiter, who beat this horse on debut. We'll show him in the lightning round, made it 3 for 3 at our sister track. Laurel, you went with the 5. We both have the 5. Gerard in second. Would be no surprise getting back to the main track.
Well, right, and coming down from special weights, coming off of the synthetic track, he's had some excuses that you could make for him. You can get creative, but the biggest thing for me is the class drop with Gerard. And if he can run it all and go and take a field wire to wire, it's probably this one.
You got Winooski in there at a big number from the outside with the apprentice Vladimir Rengifo on there. Big number underneath.
I do like Winooski a little bit to add in a price because he too can pass horses. And if you like Hello Jack, he was just a few lengths ahead of this one, and he's going to be at least 2 or 3 times the price. So using them both made sense for me in the top 4.
Back on the Tapeta for the 3rd. It's a good one. It's an optional claimer. These are fillies and mares 3 and up. A key scratch. Probably the biggest one on the card, Basking. I know we were both looking forward to her. Lisa Lewis had her 2 for 2. What that's going to do is Queen Tifa 7-5 on the morning line already. She's probably in the 3-5 range now. I thought she was going to be really tough to beat, but you have Fulton Market on top.
I scratched into Fulton Market.
Okay.
We did both really like Basking, and she was going to be one of the horses I was really excited to see on this card. You want to see these horses develop. It would only be her 3rd start, and I think that it would be another positive step and a very exciting horse to watch down the road. She still will be, and I think that when we see Basking again, she's going to be a heavy favorite, as I thought she might have been in this spot. I know Queen Tifa would take a lot of money, but Basking is a really exciting prospect that I think would probably have gone off as the chalk. Now, where that leaves you as far as the favorite, it might be Queen Tifa. It might be Fulton Market. She's another big one that I think needs to be able to get out quick, which she has. And last time she developed a new dimension. She came from just a little bit off the pace. She had to get into a dogfight down the stretch, and she ended up dead heating with a very nice filly. So take nothing away from her in that. Even though she couldn't get her nose in front, Fulton Market still put up an excellent fight. She's been rested since that time, and she might be able to put this field away early.
Quinoa Tifa now getting back to the Tapeta. She ran so well last time behind Mary Quay Quintreri, who's now 5 for 6 lifetime. But you look at the Tapeta race 2 back, it was a huge effort. Running Memories and Poseidon's Passion would be 1-5 in this kind of spot. She's going to be tough.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Quinoa Tifa did put in a good effort in defeat, too. She's another one that fought on, and sometimes when horses get looked in the eye, they don't necessarily do that. Quinoa Tifa has proven that she can battle and carry on. She's probably the filly to beat with her body of experience, but I thought that Fulton Market could maybe pull a mild upset.
I think the gap from those two to the rest, whoever you like, you've got the 7 and 3rd. I've got the 5, Starship Nala. It's a pretty big one, so we'll see both 2 heavy favorites in there. I just singled Quinoa Tifa. If you're looking for another one in that early pick 5, Fulton Market, certainly it. So it'll bring us to our break here on Gulfstream today. When we come back, we've got 3 down, 6 to go. That means it's Rainbow 6 time. Ronnie's got a ticket. Stay tuned.
It's probably the most beautiful racetrack in the country, to be honest with you.
The background is just beautiful.
I love Gulfstream Park because of the grandstand and the racing.
The weather is beautiful. The facility is phenomenal.
The Gulfstream Championship meet has become one of the top events of the year. You could come out on a Wednesday and see a future Preakness winner.
They're off in the Preakness. The Run Happy 7 in a derby.
Got the unique 6.5 down the hillside turf course.
A whole lot of great racing here in California.
And we're off.
We have all 3 surfaces here, the only racetrack in the country to have all 3 surfaces. Being close to the ocean, being surrounded by some of the greatest horses and riders in history, it's amazing.
It's the prettiest thing you've ever seen. There's no one else has a background like we do.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Brian Nadeau, Angela Herman down from Minnesota joining us, and we've got getting some sun down here. We've got 3 races down, 6 to go on the 9-race Sunday card. That means it's Rainbow 6 time. They hit it again yesterday for over 75,000. So golf clap if you're out there. That means we start anew today in race 4. Ronnie put a ticket together. He'll be with us in a little bit. The standard playbook there, the 43-20. That is the Nicoletti, they call it. He'll go 3 deep in the opener. He's got the logicals. Here's his single, my single too. My best bet of the day, Forest Survivor. He's 3 deep in race 6. 2 deep in race 7. I think those are the logicals. Absolute Grit and the Distractor. He'll be a short number. Here's his spread in race 8. Now, that race was kind of scratch-riddled a little bit, but he's still going 4 deep in there. And then to get out in the finale, Ronnie's goes 5, 7, 8. Let's see. I'm going to say he's got his long shot in there as Raw Honey is 30-1 on my morning line. Ronnie's got that one in the mix. Like I said, the playbook 43-20 kicking off here in race 4. It's a 5.5 maiden optional claimer on the main track. These are fillies and mares 3 and up. The Florida breds do not have to be in for the tag. I'll start it just because I think Feline is going to be a strong favorite. The right outside attack post, I admit she's had her chances. I get it. But I think being outside her main rival, Laveau, to me, if it's not today for Feline, I don't know when it's going to be.
Fair enough, and she is the horse to beat, and I understand that she'll be the favorite. But with me, give me a speed horse, give me the inside, and that's probably the direction that I'm going to go. And that's the way that I went with Tank Top, who was claimed out of her June 9th start. They've given her rest. Bobby DeBona is bringing her back off a lot of workouts, but some very good workouts and some workouts that I think are flexing her speed. She showed excellent speed in those last 2 races. They're very different. One was on the turf, one was on the slop, but now she should get into a setting where it will really make that speed tough to run down. And on that on the main track here at Gulfstream, that's what I'm looking for in any category, but especially with maiden claimers. Tank Top drawing the inside concerns me a little bit, but she has broke so sharp, those concerns were a little bit abated. So I took Tank Top to pull the upset. I ask you with Feline, moving over from the synthetic to the dirt, is there anything in particular you look for? Do you look for a pedigree? Do you look for the running style? Is there something that triggers you that maybe this horse will move up on the dirt, or do you think that just the same race moving from one surface to the other will get the job done?
Yeah, I mean, with Feline, to me, I think it's just a spot that they have for her in here. She's run 5 times on the Tapeta. You know, she's run very, very well. You draw a line through the route race. Obviously, she doesn't want to do that. And Arundel homebred by Brethren and out of a tail of the cap mare. So she's certainly bred for this. We'll see what we get today. Maybe she moves up. Maybe she runs a race. She does seem to find 1 or 2 better, and that's certainly the case today. Bobby D, 17% off the claim. I think, at the risk of speaking to you, we both look like we're willing to fade Laveau a little bit, who, with a tricky post position as well, she can beat me today.
She's entered 2 times in a row with Feline. Feline has got the better of her both times. There isn't quite as much speed with her as with Feline, but both of them were beaten by a horse that won wire to wire last time, actually came back on the inside, and she's a Spitfire. I'm thinking that maybe Tank Top can follow suit with that tactic.
Couple of scratches in race 5 to kick off the late pick 5. So Concrete Glory and the Tenton Mailbox Money is out. I mentioned there are some scratches in the later part of the card, so take note. We'll give you those. Obviously, we'll send it upstairs to Darren Gagne coming up too. But here's the ticket, $24. It was hacked in half because it was $48, but the 9th really, we lost a few key contenders. I'll single with Forest Survivor right off the rip here. My best bet of the day. We'll go 3 deep in the 6. We're going to show a replay of Affy Kid. That is my price in there, which should be a decent number in there. Claudio Gonzalez has a couple. We'll go 76 in race 7. The Distractor, a heavy favorite. I got a feeling Absolute Grit's going to run today, though, so I wanted to use them both, especially on a cheaper ticket. 4 deep in the 8th. I know you like Novaya. I've got that one firmly in the mix. This one, I lost my top pick down inside the Golden Voice. Ray Handel's going to be here this winter. He's not going to be here today. And then 2 deep in the finale, and it's 87 is the order to Bally Baby on top. Some key scratches in there. That will get to $24. Angela, I think it's my best bet of the day. I think Ronnie's got that one as well, too. Forest Survivor on the drop for Rohan Crichton is going to take a lot of beating. I used the same angle yesterday. It did not work, but I think Forest Survivor on the drop gets a group that he's supposed to handle. Or supposed to like, at least.
On paper, definitely supposed to handle this sort of group. He gets back down to a level where he found success at earlier in the year. And I understand people liking Forest Survivor. If you want to single him on a ticket, I understand the logic behind it, but at 5 furlongs, with a lot of horses on the drop, with a crowded field, and with horses who have run races that would win this race at some point in the last year or so, I thought that I would take a shot. I tried with Concrete Glory. He's not going to run today. I had Mailbox Money in there. Not going to run today. So somehow I scratched into Old Town Road, but I just wanted to take a shot again with somebody who was a new face in here, and that in his recent history, now it's around the same time that Forest Survivor ran races that would win this, that Old Town Road could pull an upset. Old Town Road is really going to need to turn back the clock in order to get the job done and beat this horse. I understand that, but in a race like this where I was in search of a price, I liked a handful of horses. I had to take a price instead of taking the favorite. So I end up with 7, 2, 5, and 11. Tiger Blood, while he's run races that could win this, it's been an awful long time since he's posed for some pictures, so I would feel more comfortable using him underneath at a price. And I did use the 11, the Predicament, as another sort of spicy underneath horse, but not one that I think could probably defeat Forest Survivor and Old Town Road, but maybe one or the other.
Steve Glaceris is going to start Tiger Blood in here. Ronnie pulled a trainer stat on him. It's good to see Steve back, and he'll be getting busy throughout the course of the championship meet. This is all right. Turf to all weather, 6 for 30, so it's a pretty sizable sample, too, 20%. ROI is low, but this is a barn they like to bet. But Tiger Blood, the veteran in here, is a cool old dude, 9 years old, 68 starts, 19 wins for him. So you got to like him. 60 starts, 30 for 60 in the exact. He's a cool old guy. I will admit it's a tough puzzle if you're not with Forest Survivor. Your top pick, Old Town Road. Amador Sanchez, we kind of been waiting for him to come out of the woodworks a little bit. He gave us Super Corinto yesterday, who looks like a heck of a horse. We'll show him in the lightning round. Don't sleep on this barn. Had a very, very big championship meet last year. So we'll go on to race 6. That's going to kick off the late pick 4, routing on the Tapeta here. It's a good one, too. It's an optional claimer for the 2-year-olds. We go 1 mile in 70. I'll start it off because I've got the replay. We're finally going to show a replay after losing a couple early on. Affy Kid. Now, this is not the last race. This is the Tapeta race for Affy Kid. Admittedly, didn't beat a lot. Admittedly, stepping way up today. This is an absolute tour de force in here, though, for Claudia Gonzalez. And now he's going to run on the Tapeta for the first time because Claudia claimed him out of this race, Claudio, and you look at this effort. This horse is going to run off in the stretch. He's going to have to step up today. But before we get into the body of this race, this is a powerful effort. And I do think, you know, this is a race for the taking a little bit today, too.
And this is the time when you can catch these younger horses that are inexperienced. Wine Empire, my top choice. Your choice, Affy Kid. Only 2 and 3 starts into their career. They haven't established where they fit on the class ladder yet. So as they progress and as they improve and as they find where they fit in, that's when you can catch them at prices. Not necessarily later on down the line when they've proven that they're real race horses. So I think we both had the same sort of angle in the 6th where we're taking horses that are taking a hype up in class because of what they've shown in the morning to their very good conditioners who opt to move them up in class, as opposed to some horses who are coming out of stakes, who might be staying at the same level. They have proven maybe they don't quite fit in with that class at this point. I would still rather take Safi Joseph, for example, the trainer of Wine Empire, who claimed this horse for $35,000 and thinks, hey, he can run with these. I think Wine Empire can too. I think that you're going to get an unusually high price for the connections that are going to send him out. And it's the same sort of logic as you use with Affy Kid.
Yeah, they might bet this horse. I made him 8 on the morning line. We'll see. Ronnie pulled up a trainer stat. I could see it's Safi. It's Edgar Zayas. They'd like to bet these, obviously. Here's one that flatters him as well. 33% first off the claim for this kind of layoff the past 5 years. Obviously, he needs to step up off the Tapeta maiden claiming win. It was a slow race, but Affy Kid was a slow race too. They need to step up, but like as you said, they're very lightly raced with plenty of reason to improve. Let's talk about Tigre. He's the house horse. He's clearly the horse to beat. Those 2 races he's run on the Tapeta, at least right now, are going to beat this field, and he ran very, very well on the main track last time too. Very versatile.
At 71-1, nobody was beating Awesome Strong that day, but Tigre still made a nice inside move. He has proven that he can do what he's being asked to do today. You don't see that with the rest of the field. It's understandable why he would be the favorite in here. I know that he'll take support, and I don't know if he's going to get the pace that he desires in here. I don't think that it's going to be blistering up front, but Tigre could naturally find himself closer to the pace as a result, and he's a very logical horse in this spot. But again, trying to catch some sort of upset shot, I think that we don't necessarily know what we have in every slot of the gate in here, so I'm going to try to take a chance. And to go on with Ron's stat about first off the claim with Safi Joseph, he's 30 for 84 in the past 5 years claiming out of a win, 7 for 17 claiming horses out of their maiden win. It's a small sample, but it's an effective angle.
Yeah, so this is obviously a prolific barn, and dipping in and moving up. That's a very confident move. Live His Life is in there as well. Wasn't that far behind Tigre last time. Tigre did that on 7 days rest, by the way, when he ran second to Awesome Strong. You got to give him credit for that. The barn got to win the other day, so we'll see what we get. It's a tough puzzle. I think there's more going on than just a probably strong favorite in Tigre. Race number 7, late pick 3 time here. It's a starter allowance, $32,000, 5.5, a snappy 5.5 on the main track. I think all eyes are going to be on the Distractor. You couldn't beat him. I couldn't beat him. He just looks like, right now, no pun intended, as the now horse.
Yes, very much in the zone. And the Distractor has turned out to be an excellent claim for the barn. This is kind of more what you expect to see with Safi Joseph, Edgard Zayas, and a horse who has been on a tear lately, drew to the outside favorably, doesn't need the lead, just has too many things pointing his way, and he would be a single for my pick 5, any sort of horizontal tickets that you're going to make, and he's going to be a lot of people's single. So if you can find a way around him, the Distractor is going to be a big hurdle. And again, there's some alternatives in here who can run, but I tried to get creative, and I always came back to the Distractor. So I took it 7, 8, 4, 6.
Odds on 3 starts in a row, and I made him 7 to 5. But
Yeah.
I think they're going to bet Absolute Grit, and I think he's going to run today. He didn't run last time. It was just kind of a stub your toe kind of effort. It's not his usual type of effort. You look at the races 2 and 3 back. Rohan Crichton's freshened him up. Those are races that would not only scare the Distractor, they would give him all he wants and more. I have the utmost respect for the Distractor. I don't know if he's running third to Willie Boy in Pudding in that kind of stakes race, so we'll see what we get. But let's talk about the 8 Legal Deal. You're trying to split him for Carlos David, whose northern horses that are now back have been running.
Yes, they've been running well, and over the past year, he's 2 for 23 chipping into Gulfstream Park, but 6 of them ran second, and not necessarily at low prices. So if you're looking to put together some sort of vertical, Legal Deal would be a good horse to use underneath an Exactus, especially if you don't like the Distractor. But some of his better shippers have come over from Tampa, not quite as long a distance as from the Northeast, and I'll be keying in on them probably in their second starts down here at Gulfstream as opposed to their first. But Legal Deal has quite the record to him, and you wouldn't normally catch a horse that's 9 for 26 as the second or third choice, but that's just the field that he's lined up against.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He's 9 for 15 in the Exacta on our main track as well. Charles Chrome, the 2, is out, by the way. Take note of that. Several scratches in the 8th, too. Late double time, a routing on the Tapeta and an optional claimer. These are fillies and mares, 3 and up. So the scratches, this is key because it kind of blew this race up for both our picks and a little bit on the board as well. The 1, Golden Voice, the 3, the 5, Poema is a big scratch, and Maria's Revenge, the 8 is out. So now we all come. But with that being said, let's show the replay of Novaya, who you had on top all along as your best bet of the day. Good effort here behind a good horse.
Yes, this was a great effort. And Finest Work, the filly who beats her in this spot, has turned out to be a nice runner for the Weaver barn. She can't hold her off in the stretch, but you said I like Novaya earlier. After the scratches, I love Novaya, and I know that Novaya is not going to be any sort of exciting price, but she does have Economic Hangover, Flying Black, and some horses that maybe they're more familiar with down here. But Novaya is the 8 in the shot. You can see her between horses right now. She is not going to end up winning. She'll run second. This is behind Finest Work, who also returned to win. And Parnak, the horse who ran 7th in her latest effort at Aqueduct, also has come back to win since that time. There's a lot of really tough fillies in her running lines, and Via is well clear of everybody else in the field in this race at Monmouth in early September. I just think that Novaya's style, being close to the lead, and her recent form and some of the knocking on the door that she's done against these N1X foes is really going to play in her favor. I think that Novaya drew perfectly, and the scratches will only lower her price but make her that much tougher.
Yeah, the good thing about the scratches is, I still don't see a real heavy favorite in this race. The betting still could be spread around. Salima, who beat her last time, a really, really nice young filly for Chad Brown, too. So she's,
yes,
like Angela said, she's coming out of the right races. I scratch in to the 6 Economic Hangover, another one of those Safi Joseph Jr. horses, now getting back to the Tapeta. If you want to look at her on just one start, the Tapeta race, that's the one that plays in here. Big, big effort.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I I like Novaya as a single, but I understand going in different directions with horses who are more familiar and who have tried synthetic. That was my one question with Novaya. Do you have any reservations about her trying synthetic for the first time?
You know, you don't know until they get over it, but if they handle turf, we'd like to think they're going to at least handle it a little bit. We'll see what we get. And the good thing is, it's not like this is an off-the-turf race. We can't wait for the turf to get back. This was a Tapeta race. Kent Sweezy wants to run her on the Tapeta, so I'll let a good, solid trainer go with it. Let's see, number 7, Flying Black. So, you know, she's kind of the house horse. I mentioned this earlier. I respect her. She was necked out to Jazzy T, who Bobby DeBona's got in raging form right now. She would be no surprise either. She's in 7 for 9 in the exacta on our Tapeta.
Yeah, and she had to wait behind those 3 leaders last time, got through between horses. Jazzy T got to her outside, and Jazzy T was favored in that spot. Flying Black ran her race. She was second best on the day, but she's run second quite a bit, and she's always put in a solid race. There's nothing wrong with her form. It's just that usually she finds 1 or 2 horses at whatever level she goes to, whether it be starters or these optionals, that's just a little bit too tough. Still very usable if you like exacta play, but I would not use Flying Black on top. I love Novaya.
Race 9, we are back on the Tapeta. We're sprinting on the Tapeta in the finale. Fillies and mares 3 and up, which have never won 2. The tag 12-5 down to 10. As I mentioned, it's a very snappy 5 furlongs here. We both land on number 8, Bally Baby. I like this post. I like her running style. We have some key scratches in here of the 3, 6, 9. I think you scratched into her. I did not.
I did.
You did. Okay.
Yes, I liked Veloce Bella a lot. It goes back to the tank top theory. Give me a horse on the inside with a lot of speed. I know that any distance really beyond about 4 furlongs has been a bit of a challenge for her thus far since coming back off that July to October layoff, but that's all for naught. She's not running. So I did scratch into Bally Baby. She hasn't run since August as well, but she made an improved effort when she moved over to the turf at Monmouth. Now, was that a product of the surface switch because she had run well on the turf in the past? Was it her just coming back around in form? She went off after that. So I know that she's been down here for just a shorter time as she had been working out up at Laurel, but Bally Baby still looked like the controlling speed now with these scratches. I don't know who's going to go with her, but that has kind of been Bally Baby's undoing, where she is expended a bit too much early. I can't see that happening in this group, so I do fall into her.
Drop doesn't bother me. Claudio Gonzalez is just a high percentage guy that spots his horses just in it perfectly, and that's why he is that high percentage. Let's bring up the replay of the 7R Reposada Loca last time. I thought this was a pretty strong effort. Here she is out the back. You do not want to be here on the Tapeta, and some of it's her own doing, some of it wasn't her doing. Floats widest on the far turn. She's still beaten just ahead. She's running through the turn. She's going to need to be closer today. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Finishing order, by the way, 1, 4, 6, 8. So everybody stuck around but her. I think it's a better effort than it looks. With that being said, I still think she's behind the 8 ball with Bally Baby. She needs to find a little more positional speed off the claim for Jose D'Angelo.
I don't know how you find that so instantly. She could. These are young horses. She's only 4 starts into her career. So there's some things to like about our Reposada Loca, but I still preferred the experience to her outside, the proven speed, and the fact that she is outside of her. If she does find some positional speed, her hand might be forced between Bally Baby and some of the horses to her inside. Not necessarily a place that you want to be, so a lot of things fell in the favor of the 8. And I think she'll be a strong favorite probably by the time all is said and done and they get to the gate.
You're looking through the rest of this field. You're probably talking 6-5 and 8-5 on those two. The gap to the rest of them, pretty big. Cupid Austin. Cupid Austin has back races that play with these. Can she get to them? That's the question.
Well, right, and she has some ground to, well, she had some ground to make up on competition with Veloce Bella and Demurely, but with those two out of the equation, there's still a big gap between horses that run like those two did and her. So Cupid Austin being to the outside, she does move in a couple of slots. I don't like the lack of speed. There's just some things that need to be changed around with her before I'll put her on top. But I did use her in 3rd.
Yeah, and we'll show some graphics from our friends at Horse Racing Nation a little later. You have to be close in these sprints on the Tapeta. You're not going to loop this field coming out from the back. So 9 down, that's on our Sunday card here. Don't forget, we start anew in the Rainbow 6 in race 4. But before we leave you, of course, we've got the lightning round. And Ronnie and I talked yesterday about this awesome optional claimer that we ran, and the favorite was defeated. We've got to give the old guy Noble Drama the utmost credit running down. We'll talk about them both, but good to see Noble Drama, a hard knocker, get it done.
I mean, this field combined over $3.7 million in earnings. He ran them down, and he did it with style. This is so cool to watch him. His 10th lifetime win. The family, how about the family with the Fox Barn? I mean, his dam is a half to big drama. They have proven time and time again that they are just pure racehorses. That was a pleasure to watch and a really cool race. I mean, things to come in the championship meet right around the corner, huh?
Yeah, Dave Fox, what a great job at keeping him going. And, you know, he's a veteran now. He loves that one-turn mile. And as Dave said, pace makes the race. And it's a good segue because you saw the runner-up. That was the Group 1 winner, Super Corinto, who he just did everything but not win. He ran an absolutely awesome race. He is heck to pay as we turn the page now into the handicap races of 2023.
Yes, and I think that that's going to come back to be a live race. And it's been one of the best races that we've seen all meet long.
Yeah.
Bring all those Titans together. Something has to give, but it was an exciting one from start to finish. And I think that even the horses that brought up the caboose in that field are going to be live wherever they land next.
Yeah, it's a race, a key race in the making, to be sure. Best bets and long shot time. Your best bet, race 8, Novaya?
Novaya, yeah, I think she can take them all the way. I don't think that she'll be even close to the price that she would have been prior to the scratches, but I liked her then. I love her now, and hopefully she can be an anchor in any of your late horizontal sequences.
Don't knock that morning line now. My best bet is in race 5. That's the 2 Forest Survivor. We'll see what we get there on the drop from Rohan Crichton. The long shot for you, about 27 minutes away, right?
Yeah, pretty close by. I am going to take it in the first. Like I said, I did originally have my long shot in race number 5, that being Concrete Glory, but as he'll join us another day, I fall into Major Price. I guess that's kind of cheesy, but that's how I fall into it with my long shot in the first. Hopefully she can pull things off.
Well, my long shot is Captain Complicated in race 2 at 10-1, but the segue here is the hat trick because Antonio Sano, who's got Major Price in the opener, won 3 yesterday, and one of them with a nice 2-year-old here that we're going to show. And it's always good when Antonio, Il Miracolo, always good when Antonio's got a nice runner and a nice prospect. Looks like he's got one here.
And one who made all of the running and kept on going. And even though he looks a little tired down the stretch, there's a lot more in the future for this horse than just this. And that was a very impressive way to get his campaign rolling as they move into next year. And it was a big day for Sano. I hope it keeps right on going in the first. He's got a couple, but I have the longer price to the 2.
A horse that had been knocking on the door, faced 3 buzzsaws and ran second to all of them, broke it down yesterday. Good to see for one of the good guys. And last but not least, our sister track up at Laurel ran 3 $100,000 stakes yesterday, 2 of them for 2-year-olds. And this is one here for Recruiter, making it 3 for 3 in the Lewis for Cash Lynch, and pretty impressive prospect here, Florida bred as well.
Yes, and he broke a little bit better, shows that he can handle multiple things. He can handle an off track. He can make all the splits. What a talented, fun horse to watch into the future. Like we talked about before, this is the time of the year where some of these 2-year-olds start to separate themselves from the rest of the class and really stamp themselves as contenders for some of the classics going forward. Now, it's a little premature to say that with Recruiter, but it's a good stepping stone in the right direction, and it's exciting to see where they can go. You never know what you're going to get and how these 2-year-olds are going to develop into their 3-year-old year. It's fun to get excited about these horses at this time of the year, and he's one of them.
Absolutely, without a doubt, and that's a good kind of look forward to the championship meet as well. As we turn the corner, the 2s turn into 3s, and we get the 2 turns, and we get all that good stuff. So a couple of nice prospects both here and up in Maryland as well. So that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us. I know no jacket or coat for you today.
No, thank you for having me. This is a great pleasure. It's a beautiful day for racing. Hopefully we gave you 9 winners, and you can come away with a lot of money to end your weekend.
And we'll throw it up to another Minnesotan upstairs, Darren Gagne. He's got the scratches today on our 9-race card, and we'll be back, Ronnie and I, for the opener. Take care.
I remember the first time I came to Gulfstream, it was like this big fairy tale place.
We back.
Northern Dancer, winner of the Florida Derby.
Yeah.
All the history, all these great horses, trainers, jockeys.
It is Barbaro to the final furlong. He is a neck in front. Barbaro wins!
It was everything that I ever dreamed of.
Sunday silence surges to the front.
First day, opening day of championship meet, I was kind of starstruck. You're watching LeBron James, and then next thing you know, you're playing basketball against him. That's how I felt when I'm riding with Donnie V, riding with Irad, Luis.
So many famous people come, Post Malone, Pharrell, J-Lo was there. It's epic.
The weather is beautiful. The facility is phenomenal.
It's all about Knicks Go. Knicks Go makes it 4 in a row.
one of the most beautiful tracks in the country, surrounded by some of the greatest horses and riders. It's amazing.